right, well I'm here at JMACX on the sunny coast, and it's not so sunny today, Jace, but thanks for letting us have a bit of your time today. I really appreciate that.
No, all good.
Now, one of the reasons we're here is we're doing a lap of Australia, and two things we wanted. We wanted to take away the best van we possibly could, which we believe is a Zone RV, and the second thing was Toyota. We love Toyota, so we wanted to make sure our Toyota 300 series was adequate to travel. And then we've got a few other little options there. So you've got the whole three here for us, mate.
Yep.
You've done work to lots of 300s and Toyotas especially. Can you just explain, so one of the things you're going to find out today is exactly like Jason's. We're going to get the sister car to this chop. So, mate, do you want to explain what you've done there to help us get to this point of being able to obviously go around the state, go around the country in a 300 series, so we're fully legal, we're fully equipped, that we can get there and back. We know we've got quality componentry, but mainly all of our weights and GVMs, GCMs and all that good stuff is fully covered. Can you explain that, mate? So we're
So I suppose it's a bit of a journey, and I think the traditional journey for a lot of suspension companies was, let's build a GVM.
Yep.
Here's a set of springs and shocks.
There you go.
There you go. That's it. It's not enough.
No.
So when we're pushing these cars to, plus 600, plus 900 kilos,
Yep.
they can do the job to a point.
Yeah.
So we always test these cars to make sure that engines, transmissions, chassis, etc. So where we start exceeding strengths on chassis, differentials, and that sort of stuff, tow systems, you need to do more work.
Yeah.
And whilst I do understand that some companies will run the gauntlet, obviously they think they know more than Toyota, eating into their safety margins. And I think from a risk perspective, Toyota manufacture a product.
Yeah.
They stipulate the guidelines on axle loads and GVMs.
Yeah, totally.
If you want to exceed it, that's fine, but you need to do more.
Yeah.
And so what we traditionally see now is we take the front axle number, the rear axle number, smack them together.
Yeah.
They'll exceed the recommendation by Toyota. Now, remembering this is the manufacturer's recommendation.
Yeah.
By, say, 10%, which 10% is a pretty good, safe place to be because they have enough margin in them. Whack those two numbers together and pull a number out of their hat.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. When you do that, as you load in the rear of a car, it gets lighter, not heavier.
Yeah.
So as Toyota build that car and they go, that car's 3.3 tonne.
Yep.
It has 5 or 7 seats, so that's 5 to 7 occupants at 63 kilos, tank of fuel, bull bar, side rails, winch, whatever, 3.3 tonne, 350 on the ball.
Yeah.
We're now saying, no, you can stick 600 kilos in the back, man. Or 900 kilos in the back. You can't mount people on the bonnet.
Nah.
So the weight transfer, and then as the weight's behind the axle, it multiplies.
Yeah.
So, a kilo on the tow ball could be 1.2 to 1.5 on the rear axle because of its leverage.
Yeah.
So bang, straight away, you're up for axle capacity.
Yeah.
While some companies might weld bracketry and stuff on to get some numbers up, some companies do absolutely nothing. And we're seeing increases on the OE axle by 600 kilos over the OE recommendation. The problem is they don't even meet the VSB 14 for post-rego.
Yeah, right.
So by manufacturing a new axle housing, which is what we do, if it needs chassis work, we do the chassis work on it. Tow systems, so you'll see in the AEV dual cab, the tow system on that one has been designed and manufactured to be 4.5 tonne.
Yeah, so just explain that one especially, because we're going to do the exact same vehicle.
Yep.
You guys are going to build it for us, but that's basically gives you what towing capacity?
So that's 4495 GVM
Yep.
with a 4.5 tonne tow.
Yeah, so that's
okay.
Fully accredited.
Fully accredited, it's all SSM approved, AEV. That's particularly the first one they've done. It's a 600 stretch.
Yeah.
And I think, and as we've shown you, proportionally the 600 stretch is a really good size. One-piece tail shaft, so you don't have two-piece tail shaft issues.
Yeah.
So you can strengthen up that tail shaft really well. It's not mammoth to drive.
Nah.
Like I jump out of the wagon and I drive that.
It's not a big difference.
And I'm like, I can barely tell the difference. It's such a good vehicle to park. And look, to be honest, I was surprised. I think I told you, I said, I was like, I don't know whether the 300 dual cab's for me, But I actually love it.
Yeah, you were a bit the same. So we've got a Ram 2500, we've had our 300 series. My VX, you've got it here. We're updating it at the moment to give it some more GVM, but also more towing capacity. But the big thing that we wanted to stay with Toyota is when we travel, like our vans, we want everything that you've got nationwide dealers. We want people to look after us wherever we go. We're not going to all the nice, easy places. We're going to some really hard places. I've found with your product, I found with Toyota, I found with Cruise Master, I can go anywhere. I can pretty much get someone who's quality and they'll look after me and they'll send me the parts. I've seen what you've got here. Yeah. You know, you'll get those things. We haven't had that experience with our Ram. I'm not blaming Rams or American trucks. They haven't been here for a long time, so it's just hard. It's a challenge.
Yeah, and there's kind of the problem. So American trucks are kind of new coming in.
Yeah.
Toyota been here forever.
Forever.
So it's not just the parts and the dealerships, the knowledge.
Correct.
So every town you go into in rural Australia, the guy goes, I've been working on cruisers my whole life.
Yeah.
I remember being up in the Cape and places like that years, like 20 years ago, and they're going, the only car that should be here is a Toyota, nothing else. And that's the thought process of people in these remote areas, because that's just what happens, you know? So that Toyota branding and that Toyota, you know, strength in their products and stuff has been here forever.
Yeah.
America's got, trucks have got a long way to catch up, and not saying that they're bad or whatever.
Nah. Well, we've both had them, so there's not an issue.
I've had 2 Rams myself, and to be honest, I love driving my Ram.
Good car.
I actually struggled to part with it because I
jump
thought
into this.
to jump into that, but now I'm in it, I'm like, dude, this is so much better. But, you know, remote travel is a whole different kettle of fish.
100%. So when you're going to go on these trips, people out there, you're obviously looking at this because you want to go traveling. We want you to go and get back the best possible way, have the best experience. So one of our sayings, we want people to have a summit experience. So when I researched and went looking for the best that I could get for us to do that with my own family, that's why we're here today. We wanted to make sure we're legal for one. 2, it's a high quality thing. And we work with premium brands. And that's exactly why I'm standing here at JMACX, because you're a fully premium brand.
Yeah.
It's not the cheapest solution we could do, but I believe it's the best solution that we could do. And that's what, if I'm going to do it and I'm going to influence anybody, I want to make sure I'm standing beside something that I believe in myself and I'm using it myself and I put my own money into it myself. So that's what we're doing here.
And there's a lot of good brands out there of suspension and stuff.
100%.
You know? The problem that we have is they're not engineered and designed to do the limits that we're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, we see it in cases where, you know, a lot of the cars coming through here that have had GVM upgrades, the springs can't support the load.
Yeah.
And we're putting the springs on a dyno and going, I don't even know how that spring won't even support the load. We're going to do a video again on it just to show you on that 300 wagon, a 4.2 ton GVM with less than 2,600 kilos of axle load, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
It's not even possible.
Nah.
However, that's what we're seeing because it's marketing. It's going, here's 2 numbers, smack them together, there's your outcome.
Look, we see it all the time in our industry. People, with our own product, we're manufacturers, people want to exceed that, then they want to come back and ask you about issues they may be having. We always state, it's gone beyond what we do. And we're actually, like yourself, I think most good companies over-engineer things because we do realise lots of people have challenges. But I think that's what's the beautiful thing about here. You've got lots of different options for people and you've got lots of different opportunities for people to get in at whatever level they want. But the big one for me going to the chop was to give that little bit more capacity because I want to take extra fuel. We're going ultra remote on that trip. I want the opportunity to throw some timber in the back, so I'm doing the same tray as you, a Boss aluminium tray. It's a turnkey tray. If I go out there and smash something off it, I could get that part sent to me and replace it. Correct. I love that about the same package that you've got there. Can you just talk a little bit through your suspension as well? Because one of the key reasons I went for yours was the adjustability and the electric controls for that, because I think that is game-changing in our industry.
Yeah, so that was something we were the first to bring to the market. Like, it's been in the motorsport world for a long time, and the electronic side that we use is full Japanese technology stuff, and it's been in the racing industry for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
However, we wanted to bring it to that four-wheel drive market, and the reason being is our load variations in these cars is massive.
Yeah.
So we wanted a big variation to be able to adjust those shocks with your empty loaded corrugated roads conditions, and bringing that to this space. And the other thing that we found is a lot of your remote res shocks only have a small amount of adjustment.
Very, very finite.
So when you're driving around generally and
Yep.
the road's relatively smooth, you can't even feel the difference.
Yeah, true.
Right? You'll only feel it when you start to actually get into corrugations and high shaft speed.
Yep.
We wanted to be able to create something that was specifically could be used in anywhere, but on these big load variations. So our shocks have 3 times more adjustability than any other shock on the market.
Yeah.
All of the electronics, all our shocks are Aussie made, and you've seen all of our manufacturing on that.
Yeah.
All the electronics are Japanese technology, so they're not Chinese copies, which we're starting to see come out now, where it's all Chinese stuff.
Yeah.
And not it's just a quality thing.
Yeah,
because
it's a higher premium quality.
we've been doing those electric shocks for a couple of years now, and the failure rate is nothing.
Yeah.
The issues that we saw were mainly like install issues where
Yep.
maybe just not wired, and that's why we only allow facilities that are authorised by us to fit
Yep,
them
for sure.
to control it, because
Yep.
obviously anything's only as good as it's fitted.
That's right. Yep.
And when we talk about expense, that's the last set of shock absorbers you'll put in that car for the life of the car. They can be serviced at 50,000 Ks, they can be fully rebuilt. We stock all new. If you damage a shaft, if you damage a eye, if you damage a, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's replaceable.
It's replaceable, and they're all like steel bodies.
Yeah.
So
You just got to look at them, pick one up. Like, it's quality, mate.
Yeah,
and
correct. So
it's premium. And that's what I wanted. I just want to go on this trip and have no issues. We intend to take this vehicle for a few years on the road. I just wanted the best that I could get, but also I know I'm going to get asked by lots of people on the road, what are we running? There you have it. That's the best that we could find.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
With that car, so 4.5 tonne towing, one of the things that we see all the time is people want to come in, they want to do all these upgrades and they're running these bars, and we don't allow that on a Zone RV. We've even made our whole front of the assembly
So
on
you
our...
can't do it?
Yeah, so you virtually can't do it. But I like those things because I don't like the idea of transferring weight through a couple of bars when we're an off-road caravan. What's your sort of thoughts
when
there?
you're using those level bars, the whole system, the vehicle, the van has to be set up predominantly to use that.
Yeah.
So the problem with the leveling distribution, while they can be good, they can also be a failure.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is there's so many applications. So probably steering away from those, as you guys have done, and controlling that space is not a bad thing.
And we control now the length of our drawbars and things like that. And we've tried to control as best we can that you can't overload the whole van.
Yeah.
It's still operator error, obviously, but as best we can. I see heaps of people, they want to take mega amounts of water, they want to have 5 million litres of diesel and that, but you just can't do that with your family unless you go to these extremes and give yourself the best setup.
Yeah, and the other side of it too is, the more weight you carry, the more fuel you're going to
Correct.
burn. The more stuff you take, the more miserable the trip becomes.
Yep.
So, people should really find that happy medium between taking too much and then, take what you need, plan your trip so that you're only carrying what you need.
Exactly.
But I think what people are failing to see in that GVM space, GVM, brake toe capacity, GCM, and axle loads, any failure to comply with any of those makes you illegal.
Yeah, it pushes it across the boundary.
And puts you in a place that if you have an accident is not good.
Nah, and we don't want to do that.
No.
And one of the things we're looking at down the track is probably putting our 3.7 boat up on top there with our little boat loader. But anything that we try and do like that, it won't exceed that. That's why you won't see ours with a canopy or that on the back there. We're not just trying to take heaps and heaps of gear. The van takes up most of our gear, but we just wanted a bit of firewood space and that. And I just know from driving yours, I can't wait to get into that vehicle. Just with the cruisers, and especially 300s like you've got here, for any of our customers that are looking at doing that, and I'm going to start our trip in our VX, can you just tell me what can we look forward to in that space there, mate? I know you've been working on some stuff.
Okay, so currently we do a 3.8 tonne GVM, which is designed around the fact that the customers that they're towing a van, they're not doing these big trips and they're not super heavy. It's relatively economical in the fact that we're not going to give you a diff upgrade. But we then do a 42. Now the 42 is designed more for that tourer market. That you can get axle load. So and like going back to the dual cab, we have a specifically designed custom armoured spring that we designed. So that car drives like that car empty,
Yeah,
yet it can be loaded to
which
4.5
I vouch
ton.
for. It's amazing.
And even these, and we always say to people, you know, come and test drive one.
Yeah,
You know, you don't need to sacrifice ride quality for a GVM. However, people buy a car and they say, look, I'm going to keep that car for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Today you might want 3,800. In 2 years you might go and buy a van and go, I need a bigger GVM.
Yeah.
No worries. Bring it back to us.
yeah,
Service the shocks, change out potentially the rear coils, add the diff or whatever it needs to meet the next criteria.
and you can go.
And we can upgrade that GVM to 4.2.
Yeah,
Now, go down and say, oh, well now 5 years later I want to cut it into a dual cab.
yeah,
Suspension's all in the car, diffs in the car.
it's there.
It's add on, not pull it out, start again.
Yeah, righto. That's
And-
really good.
And that's the thing is, and they're fully serviceable and rebuildable. So, you know, it's that progressive package. The other thing we're working on, which we've been talking about,
Yeah.
is the GCM.
Yes.
So we've just completed a full GCM approved LS16 test for the 200 series wagon.
Yeah.
The 79's in progress right now and the 300's in progress. So
Yeah.
we're going to be able to offer GCM under LS16, which is Queensland, WA. From talking to Vic, they'll accept it. Looks like New South Wales will probably accept it because it's a Queensland approved, Australian certified for Australian conditions test.
Yeah, right.
So GCM's on all these things, but the other one which you've been waiting for
Yeah.
is we are working on a 4-ton tow on a 300.
Yeah, which is going to be, that will be transformational, mate.
However, we're not just re-rating Toyota's chassis and saying,
Yeah.
Toyota don't know what they're talking about, let's just up the figures.
Yeah.
There'll be work that's needed to be done to that tow hitch
Yeah.
or that tow system that's attached to the chassis to get that outcome.
Yeah.
But by doing it the correct way, we get the blessing of the states.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, is we're not, as a second stage manufacturer, going, we're going to accept risk
Yeah, no.
and we're just going to risk it for the biscuit to get market share.
No.
We're going to actually do the
Do it
work.
properly.
Zero risk evidence packages that we
Yep.
can demonstrate that pre and post rego.
Yeah. And that's why we're involved here right today with JMax, because that's what we want. And we only wanted to work with people who fully engineer the whole way through, but obviously with the governments and things like that. So, mate, really appreciate that.
That's right.
We can't wait to get ours at that, because I know, you know, we do our vans every week. There's heaps of Toyota customers who will want that, as you know.
Yep.
And that's going to be a big thing that'll help people stay in the, I think some people have moved across to American trucks, but what we've found is sometimes that doesn't equate to what they thought, and then they've had troubles as well. So it's challenging, I know, in that
Yeah.
space. I don't want to get too bogged down on it, but
Yeah,
you're an expert in it.
Look, I think there's a misconception generally with the American truck space. People in the Australian market assume because, say, let's say a 1500, whether it be a Ram or a Chevy or an F truck,
Yeah, any of them.
it's a big car. It's bigger than that, so
Yes.
therefore it's going to do more.
Yeah.
That's not how they're designed and built.
Yeah.
In America, you buy a 1500, that's what you do with it. Oh,
Yeah.
you want more? You don't make that car do more, you buy a 25, then
That's
you buy a
right.
35, and that's how they're built, and that works really well for them because they have a different licensing to
Yeah.
us here.
They do.
But the reality of it is, if you go and buy a 2500 or a 3500, it's not a daily car anymore. It's now purely a touring car because it's size.
Yeah.
Daily car that can do the work.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of what this package is. So
Yep.
we'll take you for a walk through and we'll have a good look around, but we really appreciate today a bit of your time because I know how busy you are. But you'll see a lot of this in our upcoming videos. We'll have our chop coming later in the year. We'll also have our 4-ton capacity with the GCM
Yep, GCM,
grade.
yep.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Well,
And
that'll
then-
be BTC
Yeah.
and GCM.
Yes,
Correct.
so that will be phenomenal. And then obviously we've got our car set up with all the JMax gear as well for this trip. So we look forward to showing you plenty of that. But we'll have a look around the facilities and just give you an idea what's going on down here. But well done on a successful business. How many years you been going in this one?
I think we're 9 now.
Yep, Sone's the same. So we hit 10 years next year. So just really cool. Like in Sunshine Coast, people like yourselves. We've also had our car tickled up a little bit and
Yep.
fixed up by the guys at Just Auto. So
Yep.
Matt, appreciate that as
Yeah,
well.
another great business.
Yeah, all within like 20 Ks of really where we are. I think it's phenomenal what's happening here. But
Yep.
well done, mate, and your team. And I look forward to presenting more about how that all works. And
Yeah.
can't wait to get out and test that in the next 2 weeks up the Cape, mate. So
Nah,
look
looking
forward to
forward
it. All right, thanks very much.
Thanks,
Jeff.
mate. Ta.
She come out of break of night.